Yo,
Wow. I like Rich's new write-in music.
yeah, man, need something a little funky, a little funky, a little funky. Anyway, good evening, everyone. It's your boy Rich. I'm here tonight. Real Talk with Rich is in the building. It's your boy, the OG Rich, and I got the Queen Tamiko in the building. I got the Chief Dundada Paul in the building, and we here for a show. We got a lot to get to, but before we get to that, I need to tell you about my shenanigans on today. Okay, so
Uh-oh.
I decided to, lay down for a minute because I know I had a show tonight. And I woke up thinking that it was Monday. And yeah, went into like a 30-second panic, realized that my wife was messing with her plants in the other room, and all is well with the world. But for a second, I'm sitting up thinking about, and that was a quick show. But it's the truth be told. It's been a long day. I was at church for pretty much half the day, but I came home, decided I wanted to just take a nap. I watched one show, and kind of messed around, see what I was going to do tonight, and then I just went to take a nap, and yeah, chaos ensued. But I'm here. You guys are there, so let me just ask you, how you guys doing?
All is well.
You
Good.
know me, man. I'm cooler than a fan.
Good. So tonight, we're going to talk a little bit about New York Comic Con. None of us were there, but that ain't never stopped Black Comic Lords from talking about the
Well, I mean,
shenanigans
that's
going
not
on.
entirely true.
Well, we were
One
there,
of the Black
but
Comic Lords was there.
I know we was there, but see, you messing with my monologue, Paul.
Oh, my bad. Let me.
Get off my shoestring. But anyway, what I was getting at, we're going to talk about New York Comic Con tonight. And we're going to talk a little bit of comics. We're going to talk, some down the rabbit hole stuff. And I got a rant on the way. So stay tuned for that. But without delaying the time, we want to get into our first segment, which is Comic Reads of the Week. So you guys share a couple of books that you may have enjoyed, things that you may cop. What you got? Come on, Tamika. I know you got something.
I sure do. I got one thing from the big two this week that I greatly enjoyed and had plenty of cackles with pretty much both of them. So, first one, of course, is I Am Batman 13. And of course, it stars my favorite question, Renee Montoya.
Yes, that's a very good issue too. Very good issue.
So now all the masks and all the craziness is coming from Gotham to New York.
Yep.
And now they're trying to deal with it. So now, since Renee Montoya cleaned up the Gotham PD, there's scuttlebutt that she might be commissioner of the New York PD.
Isn't she supposed to be in a new 6-issue mini too? The Gotham. It's actually I think it's a story about.
Yep.
Okay.
Talking about probably how she cleaned up the Gotham City Police Department, GCPD.
Yeah.
So get your pre-orders in. I already got mine in. So I will definitely get it when it comes.
Okay.
And of course, my second one, my favorite, my love. You all know. X-Men Red.
Yes.
X-Men Red. And this is number 6. Number 6. And all I have to tell you is Magneto is a G.
Yeah, he is.
Now, if y'all didn't know he was a G before now you know. So those are my 2 books of the week.
Yeah, that's what's up. What you got, Paul?
You know I don't read no comic books, man.
You know what?
I got actually a whole stack of books that just came in that I haven't had a chance to read. First and foremost, I got Joe Illidge. Shout out to Joe Illidge. Access Guide to the Black Comic Book Community, version 2021, 2022.
I expect we should be in that book next year.
I'm surprised we aren't in it this year, but
no.
Based on who I see in there, But it's a great reference book. It from podcasters to creators to books that came out in the last year. It covers it all. This is a great book. I strongly encourage all of you to check it out. I was actually a Kickstart supporter, and as a result, my name's in the back of this as one of the supporters of the book. And I rarely, not big on Kickstarters, but this was an important enough book that I thought to support it. Also picked up the first issue of Eternus. This is one that's kind of under the radar. There's not a large print run. Not a lot of people know about this book. It has to do with the Greek gods. And so you'd be like, well, what does it have to do with Black Comic Lord stuff, Paul? Well, Heracles, son of Zeus, is the main protagonist in this story, and he's Black with locks. So I thought that was kind of interesting.
Cool.
Got a copy of this variant of Edge of Spider-Verse with the new UK Spider-Woman. Got this World's Finest #7 with this new character, the boy Thunder, whose mom is Black. When you finally read that. Let's see. I mean, my stuff is all random, dude. New stuff.
We wanted you to keep it to like 2 or 3. You want like 5 or 6.
You shutting me up because I have a huge stack. All right. Well, I'll just shut up then.
At this point, you just stunned. Okay.
I mean, I listen to you, dude. I mean, you say buy Star Trek with Uhura. I bought Star Trek with Uhura. You say you do a whole video on buy Spawn 30. I buy Spawn 30. I'm just following your lead, boo. You know what? I'll just shut up.
Well, I'm glad somebody.
Far be it for me to listen to you, dude. Far be it for me.
You know what? When you reach like 50, people stop listening to you. They'll let you talk, but they stop listening. So my daughter says, I thought I had enough Black Hercules with The Rock's last movie. That's funny. Shout out to behind the scene. So books I shared. I copped a lot of books. I'm not gonna flex on you tonight, Paul, but I went to a shop.
I've been able to flex. I would have been able to flex.
No, I know you would have.
But I know you want to shut me up 2 or 3 books.
No, I'm just saying. I mean, but I was able to
buy.
We'll
be here all night because I got a stack like that sitting right next to me.
I bought. I'll say this. I bought one of my comic shops I go to. They had dollar comics for $1. So I bought a huge stack of those. But I'm gonna tell you, the cop of the week for me was this book here. This is Eerie number 31. Now, the deal with this book is this has a story drawn and written by the incredible Billy Graham.
Oh,
good luck.
Pull that up.
All right.
Yeah. Good luck finding this in the wild, because it took a minute. I've been looking for this book for a good 6 months, and happened to run to a shop I normally don't go to, and they had this one, and I got another one around here. Eerie 28, where he does the art in that book. But in this particular book, he did the story and the artwork. So I have that. Shout out to Image for this book here. Flaw.
Oh, by Chuck Brown. Yeah.
By Chuck Brown.
That's in the stack that you wouldn't let me show, but that's all right.
Very good issue. This is an interesting issue in that this woman here, she kills monsters. And but I think the joke is, well, not the joke, but the inside scoop is she is just as the title of the book is, flawed. She's flawed just as well. But she does her thing, so I'm looking forward to issue number 2. And the last one I'll show you guys, of course, is this beautiful cover with Holocaust on the cover, Blood Syndicate.
Woo! By the cover by Kanan White.
Yes, Blood Syndicate. Shout out to my man Jeffrey Thorne doing this thing. I can't get it. I'm gonna tell you something.
That issue was so damn live.
It was too much in it.
God,
it's a lot of stuff that's in it. But Holocaust as a villain needs to be in some other books. I need to see him go head to head with Superman. You know, give me some Flash action with him. I mean, I like him that he's in the Milestone universe, but I would like to see him do some mainstream books, because I mean, he's just that cold of a villain. I mean, just think about this, guys, for a second. Name me a black supervillain in the last, I don't know, 10 years, other than Black Manta, that's really just cold like that.
Other than Killmonger?
Yeah, other than Killmonger.
No, just Killmonger and Black Manta.
Pretty much. Now, Austin's got a question. He says, have y'all heard about Young Ripper's first book, Isom #1, being out? Well,
I've heard it's been out.
Yeah. Here's the deal. I'm gonna say this, and shout out to our fellow Black comic lord, James Thomason, because he's getting ready to do a review of that book. So I'm gonna wait till JT talks about it before I actually try to go spend some money on it. I know some other guys.
It's like $35.
Yeah, $35.
But it's like a lot of pages.
Yeah, it's like 96 pages. I mean, it's a graphic novel. It's not nothing to sneeze at. I heard mixed reviews about it.
The artwork looks good.
Yeah, the artwork's amazing. But we'll see. I am curious as to the story. I mean, if it's a dope book, hey, shout out to him, man. I mean, I didn't want the dude to fail. I want the dude to actually succeed. I don't like some of his politics and some of the things he says, but I mean, I have no issues with Eric July.
May I say something that's completely tangential and, well, not even tangential, completely irrelevant, off track a bit? Mm-hmm. Just real briefly. You just said something. You said, I don't want the brother to fail.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I did a live a couple days ago with my boy Mark.
Yes.
And we were talking about.
Oh yeah, I saw that. I know where you're going. Go ahead.
We were talking about the new Black Panther film and our issues with the fact that Marvel has chosen not to recast T'Challa. It has nothing to do with Shuri being made Black Panther. More power to her. I'm all here for it. It has to do with the fact that they feel the need to kill off the character, in our opinion, unnecessarily. Mark is going to boycott the film as a result, and he made a comment that I take issue with, and I want to partially apologize for. He said, I hope the movie fails.
Oh.
And that is just
pretty strong.
That is, I wish I had had the opportunity or the forethought to know that comment was coming, and I had done the disclaimer. That is not the opinion of the Black comic lords, nor representative of our opinions on that matter. Mm-hmm. Disagreements aside as to what direction they decide to take the franchise or that one character would have you, I myself personally, and I suspect my fellow Black comic lords, would never wish for other Black creators to fail under any circumstances.
Never.
So just wanted to just give that I don't know, apology, I guess.
Yeah.
For that opinion being shared on the show, because it is not indicative of what we feel like or support.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, listen, we'll get into it a little bit later on in the show. We're going to kind of address some of those thoughts as regards, not necessarily to Black Panther, but to fandom in general. So, yeah, we'll tackle some of that later on. But guys, we're going to shift gears real quick, move to our next segment, which is low hanging fruit. That's a segment of the show where we just kind of give our thoughts about things in the news and stuff like that, right? So, there was a comic book convention in a little town called New York. Yeah, New York Comic Con. This is a little insignificant. So what? They had 100,000 people there. But I will say this: Christmas came early. Came early.
Indeed.
So without getting into all of this, I'm going to ask my man Derek to play a clip. Some of that good news or some of that gift that we got. And we're going to come back and we're going to talk about it. So watch this, guys. And, we'll be right back.
Hey, this is John Jennings talking to the Black Comics Lords. We just announced the new book, Ghostlight, Silver Surfer Ghostlight, my new 5-issue miniseries with Marvel Comics, introducing a new black superhero based off the character Albie Harper by Stan Lee and John Buscema. Please do some pre-orders as soon as you can. Coming live from New York Comic Con 2022.
What comic announcement are you most hyped about?
Got it. I am most hyped about Silver Surfer Ghostlight #1 coming out February 2023, starring Albie Harper, who is becoming one of Marvel's newest black superheroes. Gonna be dope. What about you?
I can't. First of all, I just gotta say, Silver Surfer is my absolute favorite as a little kid. So I am right there with you.
Oh yeah, and it's like
cannot
based on like an old Stan Lee story. Look, I'm not gonna spoil stuff. They gotta go to Marvel.com, check out the press release. But
we'll talk afterwards. Just me and you for all that.
I know some
Silver
things.
Surfer.
I know some secrets.
All right.
At this weekend's 2022 New York City Comic Con, Marvel announced a new Silver Surfer limited series that has special meaning for the Black Comic Lords community. The series is Silver Surfer Ghostlight. Ghostlight is written by fellow Black Comic Lord and Eisner Award winner John Jennings, with art from Bitch Planet and Black Manta artist Valentine Delandro. The story follows a girl named Toni Brooks, who moves to a strange new town where nothing is quite what it seems. But whatever's going on is so out of this world that it actually attracts the attention of one-time Herald of Galactus, the Silver Surfer, to investigate. What mystery did Toni and her family unravel that would call upon the Sentinel of the Spaceways, the Silver Surfer? And just who or what is Ghostlight? The answer to the question of who or what is Ghostlight can be found in another question, as piqued by the rest of the solicitation text, which promises the limited series will introduce a new Marvel superhero 54 years in the making. What happened 54 years ago can be found in Silver Surfer #5, which contained the storyline And Who Shall Mourn for Him, in which a character named Albie Harper sacrifices himself to save the world. In Silver Surfer Ghostlight, Harper will return as a hero named Ghostlight with nano cloud powers. A 2021 post in the Black Comic Lords Facebook group covered Al Harper's brief story, which takes place in Silver Surfer #5 from January 1969. In this story, Al Harper rescued and helped the Silver Surfer who had fallen to Earth. Al built the Silver Surfer a complex device to penetrate the galactic barrier. He then sacrificed himself to disarm a bomb made by the stranger which would have destroyed the world. For all these deeds, Al gained the Silver Surfer's respect, so much so that the Surfer marked his grave with an eternal flame. Ultimately, it was Al's sacrifice that gave the Silver Surfer hope and respect for humanity.
Silver Surfer #5 is a historically significant comic book issue. Marvel Comics' New York Comic Con announcement means that Albie Harper will be one of the earliest appearing African American characters in Marvel history to eventually become a superhero.
As his appearance in January 1969 in Silver Surfer #5 predates Sam Wilson's first appearance 8 months later in Captain America #117 in September 1969. This book also played a major role in the genesis of the popular fantasy series ElfQuest, whose creator, Wendy Fletcher, had a letter published in this issue. Richard Penny chanced upon Wendy's letter and then reached out to her in hopes of meeting her. From that, they eventually married and co-created ElfQuest. If you don't already own Silver Surfer #5,
You should pick it up quickly, as this book may become more pricey in the very near future. Also, be sure to add Silver Surfer Ghostlight to your pull list once it is available for pre-orders. Buy the comics. Read the comics. We'll see you at your local comic stores. If you like this video, please subscribe to and share our YouTube channel. Thanks for watching. Peace.
Yeah. You know, that was dope. Paul, you know, I'm going to need your Jamaican card, bro. You know, I'm going to need your Jamaican card.
What a bumba. What?
See, I needed you. I'm going to tell you why I needed Jamaican card, Tamiko. Because, you know, he got this radio voice, you know what I'm saying? You could tell that this is the same dude that would like to drink, you know what I'm saying, Red Stripe and eat meat patties.
It's called beef patties thing.
Beef patties.
Beef patties.
Thematic. See? Now he's being triggered. The Jamaicans coming out. But that's my guy. So anyway.
Just so you know. Just so all of you know. That Ghostlight costume. Derek, pull up that picture. All right. This right here.
Get started.
That's the Jamaican flag. That is literally the Jamaican flag. I had this conversation with John Jennings about this. The artist is apparently Canadian by way of Trinidad. I'm not entirely certain if he intended to make this the Jamaican flag, but I already have it on good authority. The Jamaican delegation has already contacted Marvel Comics and have laid claim to this superhero as their new national hero. There will be no trades of Jamaican heroes for this hero. They are simply annexing Ghostlight as a Jamaican national hero.
Wow. You know what? Albie Harper from Compton. What you talking about?
Albie Harper is from Kingston, Jamaica. By way of St. Elizabeth, Mandeville, Jamaica, West Indies. Thank you very much.
I heard the Negroes from Compton. What you talking about? But anyway, guys, I'm just clowning. But yo, this is a dope you know, look for Black comic lords and Black comic collectors in general, you know what I'm saying? So we have a new superhero to celebrate, a new superhero to talk trash over, and you know, and it's just a beautiful thing to see Marvel expand its roster. It's limited roster in Black superheroes. But the cool thing is that this book comes out in February, right? 2023?
Yeah.
So think about this. You're going to have this book come out. Angelique Roche and John Jennings, My Superhero is Black, coming out, I think, the same month, too.
I believe so.
So that's man, Black History Month going to be lit. And I'm here all for it.
But there's more.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is. So shout out to our big bro, Dr. John Jennings, for representing Black comic lords at the New York Comic Con. But there were some other things that took place as well. Let me get the obvious thing out the way, and that's Bloodline, daughter of Blade. Okay, I'm bringing up this because I understand they want this comic to sell, right? But let it just be Bloodline. Do we have to be reminded that she's Blade's daughter? I'm just saying,
because nobody knows who Bloodline is.
Well,
everybody knows
to me, the opportunity there is, Paul, is that you're establishing a new character, give her own identity, and she just happens to be. You know, I'm not saying that marketing wise, it might be cool to do that or whatever. I'm just saying that it's a foregone conclusion. This is going to be her book. We don't know how much involvement Blade is going to be in this book, because in the issue that came out, Free Comic Book Day, that was the Axe book, wasn't it? That she was in?
Yes. That's her first appearance.
You know, and so he wasn't in that book. So why put him on the cover of issue 1? I'm just saying, look,
She needs a cosign, unfortunately.
And I get that, but
a whole bunch of folk, who are like, "Oh my God, are they going to kill Blade to put his daughter up front?" And yes.
Well, see, that's the thing to me. 'Cause I don't even necessarily think that. I know for me
Can I
personally,
just pause and listen to Tomiko's fanboy voice? I mean, that was.
Look, there are some people out there with that sentiment. God bless them, help them out. But I will say this: that if she is going to be her own character, then let her just stand on her own. And if it's established that he's going to be in the book, then great. But for all intents and purposes, we don't know how much involvement he's going to be in this book. So I just thought that was kind of I understood why they did it, but at the same time, it's kind of like let this character be who she is, and people will gravitate to her just because. If she got the skills that Blade has, who could hate that? So
I will say this: I am glad that they gave her own superhero name, because her real name is going to be Brielle Brooks, and everyone knows Blade. His real name is Eric Brooks.
Yes.
So they gave her own superhero name rather than Blade Jr., which I think would have been a mistake. So at least by giving her own name that's distinct from her father's, she'll be able to make her own path and develop her own following, which is tremendously important.
And that's up to Marvel to make happen, because again, I see this as an original character, not a quote unquote legacy character, even though there's nothing wrong with that because that's Blade. Okay. But I just wanted to see it stand on its own. You know what I'm saying? That's all for me. But I mean, I'm looking forward to it. Gonna collect it definitely, and I hope they got some fly covers for it, because I'm definitely here for the cover action and nothing else. I like that cover right there.
I mean, I give an example, like with Sarah Kinney, X-23. When Wolverine quote unquote died, they made her Wolverine. I'm like, why? She doesn't need to be Wolverine. She's X-23. She's Sarah Kinney. She's her own identity. Give her, if you want to give her a name, give her own name. If you don't want her to have X-23, Wolverine is Wolverine. Give her own name. She's already had her own title, her own series. Too deep at that point. And then to give her Wolverine's name for branding is just unnecessary.
Well, her name is Laura Kinney, and they
Laura
did
Kinney.
that for her to be profiled in the X-Men group for the year. But Logan himself said that her name is Wolverine. So
yeah, but
we're not going to argue with him.
I will. He's a big
Anyway, shout out to Bloodline and the book that's coming out. Our other book that we want to talk about is we got some Bishop action. Now I gotta take a minute, and I need to salute my brother Paul, who apparently has touched the hearts of the people over at Marvel. Twitter is the, first of all, let me just say this. Twitter is the devil incarnate. But every now and then, an angel will come through and will tweet something out, and it will get the attention of bosses. So our guy, our very own Chief Dundada Paul, decided to troll Marvel one day.
a couple days, a few days, I might say.
Some people troll, some comic heads troll, creators. Some comic heads troll other comic heads. No, not Paul. The petty is strong in Paul's DNA. So
I have to troll organizations.
He troll organizations. He trolls Disney. I want to get on that level. But anyhow, Paul was, doing his business and happened to bring up some issues surrounding Bishop. So Paul, man, break this down, man.
I'm a huge Bishop fan. Bishop is, Bishop's my guy. I love Bishop. He has been mistreated by Marvel for years. This is a guy. This is a guy, and I have this in this first tweet that I did on June 14th of this year. It says,
Bishop commanded his own squad in the XSE, extensive military, police, and X-Men experience. After being made Captain Commander of Krakoa, what does Marvel do? Put him back on the Marauders team under Kitty Pryde. He's overdue for having his own team. Stop holding him back, Marvel. And so I also tagged C.B. Cebulski, who is the editor-in-chief at Marvel, and Jerry Duggan, who was the writer of Marauders, of which Bishop was on the team. Subsequent to that, another tweet I did on, it looks like, I can't read that, a couple days later, June 15th. I can't even read it, so small. July 15th, a month later. So they have this panel, and I put in here, finally, they're giving Captain Commander something to do that shows off his skill sets and experience. Thank you, Jerry Duggan. Now, how about his own team? I mentioned it to him again. And what do we got now? Let's look at this cover.
Good says the lawyer in it.
Bam!
There it is.
Bishop not only has his own book, he has his own team.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of people, this picture's been blown up all over the internet. People are like, well, why is the X-Men looking very melanated and black in this? I mean, Wolverine is black, Jean Grey is black, Cyclops is black. This goes back, I suspect, I don't know this, but I suspect this is sort of a homage or nod to a story that we see here. Let me show you something. This is from X-Men Times and Life of Lucas Bishop, issue number 1. You see here is an image. This has to do with Bishop when he's a child, back in Australia in the camps. And this woman, who's his grandmother, who looks very much like Storm, used to always tell him stories about the X-Men, about being a mutant and how they had this group called the X-Men. Now, as a child, he would always he doesn't have a book. She doesn't have any pictures. She would just tell stories. So as a child, he's interpreting what the X-Men looked like based on the stories his grandmother would tell him. And this is the image he had. This black Wolverine, Cyclops with a Jerry curl. And there's Storm. Right?
Right.
That's what the X-Men look like in his head.
Yeah. Yeah, man.
So I think that's what that cover is ultimately going to be kind of an homage to, is what he visualized the X-Men would look like when he was a child. In other words, they were black like me.
Yes.
Right? Mm-hmm. And it's just kind of an interesting sort of nod to the concept that, you know, representation matters. And for kids, you know, the imagery is very important. So I'm not saying that Marvel did all this because of my tweets, but coincidence?
That ain't no coincidence. That's not a coinky dink, okay? We gonna stop that. We black comic lords, we bullies out here.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
There might have been a couple other tweets in between. I might have called out Marvel for not using its 100 black mutants and mentioned the fact that it never put more than 3 black mutants on the cover of a book.
Hey.
And we've got what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We got like 6 black mutants, I guess, arguably on this cover.
Mm-hmm.
Just wait till My Superhero is Black comes out.
I mean,
we're gonna really troll Marvel.
Oh, that's gonna be a wonderful day.
We can literally tweet at Marvel every day. This character is black. Why aren't you using the Marvel every day for the whole year? It's gonna be lovely. That's what's up. So yeah, shout out to Bishop getting his own book finally, and yeah, man. So that's what's up. But yo, before we move to the next, somebody brought up Photon. So can we please bring up the Monica Rambeau picture? Auntie Monica.
Auntie Monica.
Looking like a snack. flying in space. Listen, I love Monica Rambeau, and I'm happy that she's finally getting a title. This is a well-deserved, well overdue nod to her character. The only thing, and this is just Richard. This is just Richard. This is not. This doesn't affect the Black comic lords. Doesn't. This is just me. I just kind of wish that she would have if they would have gave her, instead of Photon, Captain Marvel. Because that's who she really is. She takes on these different titles, and I get it. I ain't mad at it. Photon is cool. But to me, she's my Captain Marvel.
I literally don't refer to Carol Danvers as Captain Marvel personally.
And I'm not mad at, shout out to Carol Danvers, you know what I'm saying? I mean, but to me, she's my Captain Marvel.
Yeah.
And so, again, this is going to be a dope issue. I hope that they do her justice in terms of covers. I hope they do it justice in terms of the art. I hope they do it justice in terms of the story. Because this is a Black woman who has been around a long time. And
this comes out in December, right?
A lot of teams. She's been the head of the Avengers.
Yeah.
Right? I don't think she's the head of the Defenders right now.
She was, that it's complicated. She was supposed to be, and she declined it. And so they gave it to Hawkeye, the friggin' moron, the Thunderbolts. Thank you. And basically Luke Cage said, just go on the team and just watch over it because Hawkeye's kind of a mess up. So,
but anyway,
this comes out in December, right?
Yeah. That's
so basically. Think about it. Historically, what's interesting this year, we've had 2 Black women superheroes that were overdue for having their own series have their series this year. We had first Nubia, and now we have Monica Rambeau. 2022 was the year of the Black woman superhero.
Yes, it was. And I got a shout out. You brought up Nubia. I got to shout out Stephanie Williams.
Yeah.
Because the book that just finished, that first book that they had out that she teamed up with Vita Ayala, I thought that they could have done more with it, but the character got a better book in the last 4 issues of the last iteration.
Derek points out DC she just had a Nubius kicks. Yes, they did. That's one of the dopest covers of the year too.
I mean, look, it is what it is. I mean, hey, comic book companies are not above being petty, but I'm just happy that Nubia is getting her shine. Shout out to her. She's going to be a part of the Justice League going forward. So you guys got to look forward to that as well. So, but right now with Monica Rambeau on deck, I do like the uniform. I think the uniform is tight.
Yeah, it's dope.
So we'll see. Austin says, she is really the real Captain of Marvel day one pickup for me. Absolutely. Shout out to her. And you know what? I'm going to tell you something. What I love about Monica Rambeau, she's a dope character, but one of my favorite writers got a chance to write a story. If you guys go pick up, I think it's the Captain Marvel, it's a one-shot. I don't know if we could bring it up or not, but Dwayne McDuffie did a one-shot with her. And so,
shout out to Aletha Martinez for the art on Nubia. Spectacular art. Beautiful.
So, but I mean, look, it's melanin, bro. You have to work hard to not make melanin look good. I'm just saying. So
her skin looks like gold in comparison.
Absolutely. Hey, when the sun is out, like people shine, baby. So, with that being said, we're gonna shift gears. We're gonna take a commercial break. So I don't know what we got lined up, but the wizard behind the scenes is gonna take us to a break, and then we're gonna come back, and your boy's got some stuff to get off his chest. And so Y'all wait. Stay tuned with bated breath. Rich going in. We'll be right back.
What's up, y'all? Billy used to sing about southern trees bearing strange fruit, while Paul Laurence Dunbar explains that we should wear the mask to conceal our tears and sighs, while they hide behind bedsheet hoods, being up to no good. Spawn issue 30 is about Al Simmons finding himself in the Deep South, asking forgiveness from an ex-wife. Love be like that sometime. Anyway, Spawn finds himself in the middle of Klan country. And I guess this night, they gave the cross the night off and decided to burn down a brother's property. Spawn walks up on this and the man immediately takes him for an enemy. But you know that old saying, the enemy of my enemy is my friend. Well, Spawn spins a yarn for the brother to let him know that he's had his share of dealing with Mr. Charlie and sellouts, namely his boy Terry, who just so happens to be with his ex-wife. But that's another story for another day. So Spawn goes looking for trouble, dressed in Klan robes, and he finds himself swinging from one of those southern trees that Billy was singing about. But you know, you can't kill someone that's already dead. And let's just say Spawn exacts his revenge for the brother he met and for himself by an unmasking of his own. So check it out. If you like the video, please share and subscribe to our YouTube channel. And thanks for watching. Peace.
Don't forget, go to blackcomiclawyers.net. Get you some merch. That beautiful shirt that Paul has on, you can get that. That sticker that Tamiko just showed you, you can get that. You can get that on a shirt. You can get that on a mask. You can get that on a backpack. You can get that on a mug. You can get that on you can get that on anything. We got it for you. We got some heat for you. Go to our website, blackcomiclawyers.net. And check us out.
And we
Listen to the Richard. The Richard is all-knowing and all-powerful.
Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna go hide under the Lord's cross and tip out the room while you saying that. Anyway, yeah, shout out to the whole Black Comic Lawyers crew. For those
Speaking
of you
of merch, inside the merch store.
Yeah, go to our website, blackcomiclawyers.net, and check out our merch. We got some new stuff there. We got that new. So you guys need to go check that out and pick something up. And then when you do pick it up, post a video or post a camera shot of what you got. Let us know that you're supporting us, because what we're doing, I do believe, is an amazing thing. And so we need your support. So please do that. And if nothing else, at least like the video, at least share, subscribe, tell a friend, tell a hater. I don't know. I don't care.
Let's take a 3-second break, and I want everyone who's watching this video to like this video.
Yeah, please like the video.
Go ahead.
Right about now.
I dare you.
Because you might not like it after I go in.
We're not saying anything else until you guys like it. Hit the like button. It's right at the bottom of your screen. Hit the like button right now.
Yeah.
Some more likes.
Yeah. So this is Rich. Are you talking about Monica Rambeau King Size Annual? She's on the cover. King Size Annual #1. No. It's a one shot. It's an era cover. It looks more blue. No, not that one. It's the other one. It's the other one, Austin. It's not that one. I know the one you're talking about. So that's a brown cover in the background. This one here is a blue. and yellow type cover. But Dwayne McDuffie did the one shot on that. So anyway, yeah, appreciate it. Shout out to God McCloud. He says that new. I found a couple of those Spawn 30 sweetness. Yeah, that's what's up. Man, I tell you, one of the things that we love to do as comic heads is just read a good story. We want to share it with y'all. You know what I'm saying? We want your long boxes to kind of swell, but not just just comics. We want some of these stories are significant. Some of them are special. Some are heartfelt. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that's what's up.
Shout out to Bloodsport. Says he's checking out our website right now. He found our guys just earlier. Just showed up on my timeline and check out your page. Thank you very much.
Appreciate you. I hope you stick around for after what I'm finna say.
Uh-oh.
You know what? We don't need the disclaimer because I think I'm gonna be real tame in my delivery. Maybe. Derek, go ahead. Just
go ahead and do that.
Okay.
The lawyers are satisfied.
Until the lawyers are not. Anyway, listen, guys. As a 55-year-old black man, I can remember sitting in my PJs, my underoos, watching Star Trek, watching Space 1999, watching the Super Friends, watching the original Spider-Man, cartoons. And I remember just as a kid purely enjoying this fandom. And fast forward, I'm 55, and there are like 11 million channels, 11 million different shows, 11 million different comic books you can buy. There is no shortage of books, shows, videos, games, nothing. There's not a shortage of nothing. Matter of fact, we have an excess of stuff. I got shows that I love to watch that I'm 2-3 weeks behind because there's so much stuff. But every now and then, I get frustrated with this fandom, with the people in this fandom, because I'm like, this is supposed to be fun. This is not supposed to be a labor. I am not supposed to see your, veins popping out of your neck and your head because you're upset about somebody's color on a comic book, in a show. I'm not supposed to see that. You're not supposed to be spazzing like that. It's supposed to be fun. It's not supposed to be this laborious, woke nonsense that a lot of y'all have made this stuff to be. It's comic books. It's TV shows. It's science fiction. But what we got is a bunch of foolishness. You know why the Eric July Young Ripper Isom #1 is such an issue? Has nothing to do with the comic book. Has nothing to do with his, the book itself, whether it will sell or not. It has everything to do with someone that is so unhappy and has monetized a ability to create so much, I would say, depression about a comic book, to where a guy literally sold $3.5 million worth of books. Never wrote a comic book before in his life. Never drew a comic book before in his life. But some people share his sentiments so strong that they were willing to spend over $3.5 million And we have people in this community that work hard. People like Dion, people like Varnell, who've been doing this for the longest, over 20 issues for Delta Dolls, and others who cannot get no shine because they don't match up and they don't get on YouTube videos and rant about what's wrong with this fandom, what's wrong with all the stuff that we got going on. Do you realize that if I was a kid in this day and time, that all of the different things that I have to pick and choose from, I mean, it is literally a buffet. You don't have to watch certain things. I was not a fan of Space 1999, but I had to watch it because it was the only thing on TV. I was not a big fan of Buck Rogers in the 25th century, but I had to watch it because it was the only thing that was available to me on TV. That's it. So now we got a situation where we have too much stuff and we complain about it. We complain about it. It doesn't fit in our little box. It's not politically correct. It's not this, it's not that. I'm like, God dog, can somebody just sit up and eat some popcorn and enjoy a show? Can we do this or not? What are we doing? I just need some of y'all to just chill. Because we have so much. And what this excess has done, it has bred contempt. So you have a lot of people that are in this hobby, not because they're having fun, but because they need something to complain about. My mama taught me a long time ago that misery loves company. So when I don't enjoy what I'm reading, I just want not you to enjoy what you're reading. And while I am a person who is a critic of sorts in this community, I know that I have to choose my words and I have to walk sometimes on eggshells with certain people because I'll be called all kind of stuff because if I'm not completely transparent or thorough in my analysis. That's the other part of the fandom that I hate. If we're called to do certain things, we're not called to be buddy and share everything. We demand a level of excellence. We demand a level of integrity that goes with it. And so I don't make it my business to talk about every and anything because a lot of this stuff, it isn't good. But I'm not going to hate on somebody for at least trying. And if I can help support, whether it's a Kickstarter or whatever, that's what I'm going to do. But I'm not here to save none of y'all. You're not here to save none of no. We're here to just simply talk about comics and have fun and laugh and giggle and geek out. That's what we're supposed to do. Not sit up and get upset about things like this. How? We got some nerve to want to boycott a show or a movie. What the hell is this? Is this the 1965s? Are we oppressed? Do I need to put a sign on my sense that I am a man? Do we need to do that? We boycotting stuff? Why? Okay, I get it. You don't like certain things. But calling for boycotts. When real discrimination takes place, when real things happen in the real world, that's when you invoke those kind of terms. But no. Last time I checked, these were just comic books. These are just TV shows. And if you have a problem with someone's color, gender, change the channel. It's pretty simple. You got 11 million different stations. You want to watch, old 1950 movies. You can do that. They got channels just based for that. You want all your stuff to be lily white? They got places where you could be lily white. You don't want to see no black folk. You don't want to see no queer folk. You don't want it's your decision. But it's not, you don't have a right to infringe on what I enjoy. No more than I have a right to infringe on what you enjoy. And like I said before, this is just comic books. This is just movies. This is just shows. What are we doing? We waking up to just be a hater? Is that what we're doing in 2022? Because I really think some of y'all fell on your head during the pandemic, because it makes no sense. You have all of these choices and you choose to be an a-hole when you could just shut up and enjoy. With that being said, I'm done. I just need to get that off my chest, because I really think that we go too far sometimes with this stuff. We're putting too much stock in it, because guess what? Real life is a little different. We do this to get away from the stuff. Why would I invite the very thing I'm trying to get away from? You know what I'm saying? Into my fandom. I'm just trying to figure this out, because again, if you don't like something, it's fine. You don't have to like everything. But when I look at you and all you talk about is the stuff you don't like, and there's nothing that you do like, I'm kind of looking at you funny. You're looking real unfamiliar to me. I'm just saying. So, with that being said, that was a rant with Rich. And I'm going to open up the floor to you guys now. Told you I had to get something off my chest. But
I feel you on it, man. I feel you. I mean,
yeah. I mean,
all those shows that you mentioned are shows I grew up watching. I actually did enjoy watching Space 1999 and Buck Rogers and Star Trek and Battlestar Galactica. Those are shows I'd sit down with my father back in Brooklyn and we'd watch those shows together. And he's really the one who kind of got me into sci-fi and comic books and what have you. But, at the end of the day, it's supposed to be fun, right? It's comic books. Like we as Black people, me as a Black man, has enough stressors in my life that my chosen form of escape, of relaxation, of taking myself out of the reality of the consciousness that causes me rage as a Black man, is comic books and sci-fi and movies and what have you. And one of the things as an admin that I always find perplexing and somewhat entertaining is watching two blurs fight about which superhero can beat up the other superhero and take it very personally. Right? Yeah. It's like y'all realize you got more in common than not. Like two Black nerds talking about fictional characters and taking it personally. I mean, y'all were the same two that back in high school probably getting dirt kicked in your eye by the jocks for even talking about this stuff in the privacy of the back of the school bus. Yeah. Times have changed.
Yeah, they have. I mean, it's one of those things where and here's the thing too, guys, I don't want nobody to misinterpret anything I'm saying too, because I'm actually preaching to myself as well. I know that I can be that old man, get off my yawn.
You rich? You?
Yeah. It depends on the day of the week, it depends on, what I'm saying. I'm no different. But here's the thing.
As you start with your rant with, back in my day, we
exactly.
literally had 2 comic books to read and we liked it.
Yes, exactly. I going to the corner store to buy comic books was a luxury. It was it was the highlight of the week. Now here's the thing. I wasn't a weekday warrior where I went to the comic shop or went to the corner store. No. I didn't get allowance. I was allowed to go outside. If my dad tried to chuck me $2 for cutting the backyard front and back for $2, okay, $2, it bought me like maybe 4 or 5 comic books, and it may be a candy bar. But other than that, that was my fandom for years. Okay. And so I understand that because we have so much, there's this tension to, or this tendency to take what we have for granted. And I understand that I'm that same guy too, that I at times complain. You know, one of the shows that's out right now, Rings of Power. I was telling somebody the other day that I'm happy with the show. It could be a lot better, but I'm happy with the show. And the reason I'm happy with the show is because we have the House of the Dragons, or what is it on HBO? I think that's the name of it. Yes.
House of the Dragon.
House of the Dragons. Because if I had to kind of like watch just Rings of Power, I'd be kind of upset. And the only reason why I would be upset is because I know Tolkien. I know the lore. And so I see the liberties that they have taken with it. And I have no issue with them, quote unquote, taking the liberties. But a lot of times we take some things to heart. Like, Paul, I thought about you today when I was at the bookstore. I did not know that Wakanda has a doggone atlas, that there is a Wakanda atlas.
Yeah.
Do you have that book, Paul?
What did you just ask me?
A Wakanda atlas. Now, see, spoken like a real nerd to me. See what I'm saying?
Because you know he does.
Okay, now here's the thing about that.
Atlas?
Yes, that book. But they have the nerve.
Protectors of Wakanda?
But here's the thing, though, Paul. The nerve is them charging me $30 for that book.
Hey,
I like Wakanda.
That's a good damn book. Let me tell you.
I like Wakanda, but I don't like it. Not for $30.
This book has every, man, make me bigger. Every damn thing.
Yeah. But I thought about that. And the reason why I thought about you, Paul, was because if somebody comes along, right, and they want to do a Black Panther story, you know the Wakanda Atlas. You know the layout of the land. You know where the Golden City is. You know everything, right? But let's just say somebody decides, let's say, I'm going to pick on Tamika because she's here. Let's say Tamika wants to do a story about Wakanda, okay? And she does a story, and they put it in a comic book. And you look at it, you read it, and you be like, that ain't where the Golden City is. It's over here.
Well, I mean, it would be reference from Jungle Action and from Coates' Run, which the maps in the back clearly depict where the...
I rest my case. Now, Tamiko, you went into this wanting to have fun. You went into this to try to like bring some joy. You had a story you wanted to tell, and that's what you get for your labor of love. Somebody telling you, well, in Coach Ron, he did this, and in Coach Ron, he.
But to be fair,
yes,
I would do my homework. See, I wouldn't just come into there and just do a story without doing extensive background, because that's the type of person, that's the type of nerd I am.
Yeah. But see, you're a comic head, Tamiko, so that's what comic heads would do. But let's just say you weren't familiar with all of this and you just wanted to do it because it just seemed to be the thing to do. And unfortunately, there's a lot of people in these spaces that are doing just that. They're new to the fandom. They don't know things, because that's one of the things that's wrong with the Rings of Power right now. And with Amazon, they bought the rights for the show, but they didn't invest in the research that they needed to make it authentic and more people would enjoy it. I enjoy the show for what it is. I take it on face value. I don't, get into the lore like that. I grew up watching The Hobbit, not the movie The Hobbit, the cartoon The Hobbit. That's far back I go. So, again, it's just one of those things. But Tamika, since I'm messing with you right now, I mean, what do you think about all of this? I mean, you have thoughts, you have opinions as to what we do in this fandom. You come across, trouble sometimes, and you have no problem smacking people.
I believe the technical term is pimp slap, but go ahead.
Yes. And I come at it from, of course, a different perspective. Okay.
See, you mentioned pip slap. Her hand immediately goes up in the air. You see that?
Yep, this is the one. This is the one. This is the one I use. I did a post in the groups, just mentioned a simple thing that I got my ticket for Black Panther, Wakanda Forever.
Mm.
Then it's the wave of misogyny that kind of fell over
Mhm.
the thing. And see, that's my issue. It's like, okay, it's the black and white thing. White people don't want to see us black folk touching anything of theirs. That's fine.
Mhm.
But the blurs drive me nuts when there's a woman in front.
Mhm.
And then it's all like, well, what about the little black boys? Who are they going to look up to? And I'm sitting there thinking, wait a second, but where are your counterparts? You mean that black
Right.
women don't get a chance to shine at least
Mhm.
once? I mean,
Yeah.
taking the whole Wakanda Forever thing aside, I said Shuri was Black Panther, and I didn't even hear that much vitriol about it. But when women are in front, it's a problem. And then it's a worse part, it's a problem with our own people. And that just drove me nuts. Because I mean, it's just the main thing. If you want to get thrown out of the group, okay, come in talking about females, non-males, and not males. That's going to get you popped personally by me. So I'm just going to let y'all know right now, because I don't go for that.
Right.
There's plenty of women in the fandom. We enjoy this stuff just like you. So why can't we have people that look like us, that represent us in this very same thing that we all enjoy?
Absolutely. I think that that's very, very poignant and very true. I think that what happens with us though sometimes is that, we have a tendency to be to have blinders, or we don't always recognize our blind spots. I'll say it like that. But some of this stuff though, Tamiko, is just blatant and just blatant in the sense that, okay, you're going beyond that. This is a woman, this is a deeper issue for you, not necessarily, the story in of itself. I know that me and Paul, we talked about it, and we talked about it when we did our review of the trailer. You know what I'm saying? It's like, I brought up the question, what about these little boys? But because I think it's a valid question. I don't necessarily think that, and the question in itself is rhetorical in the sense that, well, these kids, they walked into the theaters and they went to the stores and they bought these action figures, and now the figures are different. And so it's like, okay, in all of this pivoting because of the way Marvel has handled it, I think that's a part of it though. For us, it's not really a big deal. We have no issue with Shuri being Black Panther. I mean, at some point, I think all of us expected, had not Chadwick died, I'll say it like this. If had not Chadwick died, I would expect to see her wearing the mantle at some point anyway. So that's, for me, that's kind of that's the pushback on it, because it is comic book related, not because that's the thing about us is too, and we talk about representation. We're so afraid that somebody's gonna snatch something from us, and I'll give you evidence of this, because it's like when David Walker did his Power Man Iron Fist run, right? That got canceled. David Walker did, was it Nighthawk? That got canceled. The thought that Sam Wilson, his run, that got canceled. So we're used to seeing, these cancellations in some of these books. Now, I want everybody to think about this. I want Herschel especially to think about this. When's the last time we've had a book canceled? I'll wait.
Well, there was one book that was supposed to come out that just won't come out. They just snatched it before it even had a chance to air out.
Yeah, well, it's better to do that
The Luke Cage book.
Yeah,
Oh,
by,
Jay Anderson.
that's a book that did not come out. I'm talking about a book that was ongoing that they just said, you know what, we pulling the plug.
Oh, wow.
We hadn't had that
well,
in a while.
Ironheart.
What they're doing
Shuri.
now, what they're doing now is they're hedging their bets. They're not releasing, they're not agreeing to full ongoing series anymore. If you notice, all these books we just talked about, these new books coming out in February, most of them are just, if not all of them, are not ongoing books. They're like limited series.
5-issue miniseries.
They're 5-issue miniseries. Why
that,
5? Because 5 is the number they need for a trade paperback.
Yeah, but isn't that the industry as well, though?
Yes.
So but that's not germane to us. That's my point. My point is that the industry is going kind of in the same direction. I talked about this months ago when I brought up the data that the Black comic book community is 14% of the buying comic book community. That's literally parallel to our population in America.
Yeah, I mean, Derek just posted something. He said they're basically pilots. These limited series. Why it's so important for us to make sure we buy these books in February. They're like television pilots for a new series. This is how the comic companies gauge interest in these characters and the viability of them investing and doing an ongoing series. If you're not willing to buy the full 5 issues and sell them out, they're not going to invest in doing either a second limited series or an ongoing series. It's not going to happen.
Right.
The sales have to be there. I'll give you a perfect example. When Priest did his original run, which is considered one of the best Black Panther runs of all time, that was a limited series. It was part of a Marvel Knights line, which was specifically just a limited series. But it was so damn successful, they kept it going. You gotta spend the money. If you're not purchasing books, I don't want to hear from you. I don't talk to me.
I mean, and that's the thing though, Paul. I think people are buying books. I just don't think that people are buying as much as say other populations or other demographics.
Yeah.
The struggles that we have is that we're so afraid that we're going to lose something. I mean, have you ever, it's like football. I got a football jersey on. Shout out to the NFL and all of the teams that got trucked this weekend. Did y'all win this weekend, Paul? I'm being petty. I'm sorry.
I thought we was boycotting the NFL.
We are? Who boycotted the NFL?
You notice I didn't answer your question, right?
Anyway, look.
That's a sore subject. Can I go on a tangent?
Just a second. Let me get this out.
All right.
Okay, so I'm thinking that we are trying our dear best to keep these books in rotation. We're telling people to buy. But this whole thought is also the companies are trying to, like you said, they were hedging their bets. They're trying to play it safe. So they're releasing these 1/6 minis or whatever. I brought up the NFL. When you play in the NFL, you have to play with a certain level of comfort and a certain level of activity, because if you try to play safe, you get hurt more often than not. So if they're playing it safe, if DC is playing it safe by playing these 6-issue minis, whatever, fine. I throw out one of the most successful titles right now. It's a Black character. I Am Batman. Okay? That book, now some people may say, well, the reason why it's selling is because it's Batman.
It's Batman, yeah.
But at the same time, though, it's considered a legacy character. It's considered Black Batman. He's considered a woke character. But you're hard pressed to find somebody that will say that can tell you anything about the story. I can tell you about the story. Tamika can tell you about the story. Paul can tell you about the story. Amir from 1 in 100 podcast can tell you the story, because we reading the books. So what I'm getting at is that, there is enough representation to a certain degree to where we don't have to like panic when something is a front. Because to your point, Tamiko, if kids are seeing Shuri and they're not seeing T'Challa, I don't think the kids are like at the playground saying, "Oh my God, what are they doing?" We're doing that.
They sure are not.
The kids are like, oh, "Can we go see Black Panther?" Sure, they're gonna go, but they're gonna see it. That's why we should encourage them to go or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Not boycott now. You know, I mean, if you want to boycott, that's your personal bit. Do you? I just know that you're gonna miss something if you don't. So I didn't mean to interrupt, Paul. I know you say you want to go off on a tangent. What did you want to hit us with, bro?
No. It was important that you finished your point.
Yeah.
Derek helped me find something that I was mentioning before. I was talking about the tweets I did in my Trolls of Marvel, and I found one of the tweets. I did a variant cover for X-Men. I call it X-Men. I call it X-Men Onyx. You know, not X-Men Red, X-Men Onyx. It's the all black X-Men.
Black.
Blackety black X-Men. There's over 100 black X-Men. And Marvel uses maybe a dozen every 5 years at a time. You know, not all at the one time, but there's like a dozen characters they might put in their books. And I complain about that. It's just unnecessary. You have a comic book whose origins literally deal with the outcast of society, the people that are marginalized, the people that because they look or a little different, they're ostracized in society. Right? Chris Claremont made so many allusions. You know, Stanley didn't have the Martin Luther King, Malcolm X thing. It's a big urban myth. However, that comes from Chris Claremont's run because he's the one that sort of made those allusions in his run. And that's the run that attracted me to the X-Men when I was a kid. And yet you hardly ever see black X-Men. And there's over 100 of them. And you never ever see 3 or more X-Men on the cover. So I made my own cover. And then I trolled Marvel about it. Right? I posted the cover and I did hashtag Onyx. Just go on Twitter, put in hashtag Onyx, you'll see what I'm talking about. And so Marvel just released this new cover that's coming out of X-Men Red. That's the one you see on your left. My cover came out several months ago. That's the one you see on the right. Kind of interesting.
Yep. I mean,
I'm not saying that one thing has to do with the other. Is it a coincidence?
Coinky dink. Not a coincidence. We call it coinky dinks.
I think
I'm just telling you. I've been trolling Marvel, and all of a sudden we have all these announcements.
You know what? Listen. There are some. I'm gonna go on record and
I'll
say,
let y'all decide.
I'm gonna go on record and say that Marvel has people in our space, other than who we know. They have a hidden hand. them black comic lords, they always got something going on. But damn, that's a good idea. So this is what you got. You know what I'm saying? Look, I think sometimes as comic heads, we don't think that people listen to us. But I learned a long time ago, squeaky wheel get the oil. And so for you to even tweet that out, Paul, I'm not saying that 100% that is what happened, but you know, more often than not, I will say.
I'm a lawyer, so I don't say anything without there being evidence. But I'm flipping out receipts.
Yeah.
There's always a tweet.
We'll take credit.
You know, but I think that's the beautiful thing about the fandom in the sense that, right, you can actually, social media is like I said, it's the devil in a sense, but you know, there are times when it does work and it's great. You know what I'm saying? You see situations like this, you're able to express yourself and tell them certain things, whatever, because you know, at the end of the day, it would be different if you didn't know your stuff, my brother. I remember, who was the cat that tried to come at you?
Which one?
Yeah, clearly. There was a guy that was trying to come at you. I don't know if it was about Marauders or it had something to do. God dog, I can't remember what it was. But he said something to the effect that, you know, he didn't do that for people that didn't read the comics. And I know you shot back at him about it. I can't remember the full conversation.
That sounds like a conversation I have like every other week in these spaces, dude.
That part. But I mean,
you can come for the king, just don't miss.
Yeah. Shout out to The Wire, HBO. But I mean, you know, look, the evidence is there. You know, let the record show. You know what I'm saying? This is, and again, you know, I mean,
that's gonna be our next. That's gonna be our next T-shirt. You can come for the Lords, just don't miss.
Yeah, just don't miss. I mean, you know, and again, I think that we have representation. Do we have enough? The jury's still out on that.
Paul, could you explain to Stanley not being inspired by the King, Malcolm X, Security X? Because I've always thought that. Yeah, I mean, there have been some interviews, and I think Stan Lee has said that wasn't kind of his main inspiration. That comparison between Martin Luther King and Malcolm X. It may not have been in his original mind when he created the characters back in 63, 64.
Mm-hmm.
You know, at that time, I think about 1963 and what was Martin Luther King and Malcolm X doing? How much of that would Stan Lee have really been cognizant of?
No,
you know,
not really.
That doesn't make a lot of sense. No, that's not to say that subsequent writers did not play upon that comparison, because they did. Chris Claremont specifically did.
I mean, Malcolm himself said that, you know, that when he stopped having issues with King, a lot of it was due to he began to see the merit in what King was doing. And the whole thought was, look, if you don't deal with that guy, you're going to have to deal with me.
Yeah.
That's kind of where that comes from, because Magneto is pretty much that dude, except that Magneto's not going to wait for you to make peace with Charles.
Yeah.
He's just going to bring the war to your doorstep.
All of that is in subsequent issues. All of that's in the comic books.
Yes. I mean, and here's the thing too: the two strains of thought is nothing new, because the same could be said about Booker T. Washington and W.E.B. Du Bois.
Right.
You know, man, you can go back further than that. You can go back to Marcus Garvey and Clayton Powell, Adam Clayton Powell Jr. I mean, it's nothing new. And so, say what you want. I've always looked at our fandom as there's a villain and there's a hero. Mm-hmm. And oftentimes the villains, unfortunately, in many cases, are those who are oppressed. When you talk about Star Trek, you talk about Battlestar Galactica, it does not really matter. Planet of the Apes, all of it, there's an oppressed and there's an oppressor. And so X-Men dealt with that, and people draw those conclusions because they thought that, well, you know what, we're dealing with a real life situation. The only difference is we're not talking about mutants, we're talking about black folks. You know, but it is what it is. I mean, our struggle. I wrote a blog a few months ago called "The Currency of Black Pain," and black pain. That's all you. We are the only culture that monetizes its violence and its pain. You have rappers literally talking about killing people And we're not talking about something from back in the 90s or the early 80s when gangster rappers were doing their thing or whatever. We're talking about guys that are really talking about real, honest to goodness, live, real incidences of violence and being put on trial for it. That's happening right now.
Our pain has become entertainment that we don't benefit from.
Yes.
Oh, damn. Tamiko took it there.
That's what it is.
Tamiko took it there.
That's what it is. But here's the thing about that. Magneto was like, you know what? These folk don't like us, so we gonna just rule them. We're not gonna give them time to get it right. We're not gonna give them time to like fix it or whatever. We're done.
And that's where this. I mean, what's been popular on the internet right now is these questions about the rumor that Giancarlo Esposito has been approached by Marvel to play Professor X. And, you know, the fanboys go crazy. You can't do that. You can't race swap, etc. But let's think about the concept. And I'm not saying that that's something that he should do. But let's think about the concept. If you were taking the story of the X-Men and you replaced Charles Xavier and Eric Lensher with black men talking about the struggle and talking about oppression and talking about how best to deal with that. Does that story not work with black men in the roles? I mean, it's literally Martin Luther King and Malcolm X having that discussion.
It can. Think
about it. Let's think about it another way. Think about the end of the first X-Men movie, where Xavier and Magneto are talking in the plastic prison and they're playing chess, and they even literally quote Malcolm X. And Charles said, "I'll stop you by any means necessary." Right? Imagine two black men having that conversation.
I mean, that conversation takes place every day, my brother.
Exactly.
So
it's not far fetched.
No. But I will say this. The only reason why I say that you could do it, but with Magneto in particular, Magneto is Jewish, and part of Magneto's character is his experience not only being a mutant but being in a concentration camp in Auschwitz,
or being in a concentration camp in Cape Town.
True. But the question, so we're going to make him
in South Africa.
So we're going to make him South African. We're not going to make him. We can't make him American. He can't be from Compton.
That's what I'm saying. Well, Magneto's not from America, so you can have the black Magneto be from Cape Town, South Africa. Does that change the story at all? He's in a concentration camp. He's getting beat up by white oppressors.
But see, to Magneto's character, you know, the reason why Magneto's character doesn't, it's central to it because that's part of his hatred.
No, I get it. I get it. Like I said, I'm not all for the race swapping of the X-Men like that. There's no need for it. But I'm just saying the fact that you have lots of writers that have subsequently made the story of the X-Men's oppression and have a lot of comparisons to black people's oppression. The stories are there. Not really so much in modern times or the current run, I should say. But certainly in the past, there have been plenty of stories that have made those comparisons. But oppression's oppression. Wait, where's Rich? Rich got bounced accidentally. Well, let's check out some of the comments people have made here. Let's see. Gordon says, there he is. It would be smart for them to have someone paying attention, market research.
Hey, I mean, you know, whatever works, that's the way I see it. I mean, you know, again.
Bloodsport says, our underground culture is the norm. Yeah.
Well, it's become norm because it's you know, it's become mainstream in some aspects of it. I'll say it like that.
Yeah. Anytime, Austin.
But it never really has been the norm for us. I mean, the average black person I know is not in the streets banging like that. The average black person I know is trying to get to the next day, trying to just stay out the way, get they change and get out the street. I tell people, when I'm at work or whatever, all I want to do is get off in time so I can enjoy my life, because I'm on their time when I got to do what I got to do, But when I'm off, then that's when I can literally be who I want to be. I don't have to. I'm not restrained to a check or whatever. The thing is that they don't have to reinvent the wheel. You talked about black characters being in an X-Men type story. The story Black that was put out by Black Mass tried to do that.
Yeah.
But they failed miserably. Because you can't put a square peg in a circle. You can't do that. It doesn't quite fit. So for all of you creators out there with these brilliant ideas, you have to make sure that your stuff is seamless. Because if it don't look right, we're going to talk about it in Black Comic Lords. We're going to talk about it. No personal, we're going to talk about it. But, again, there's enough creative license and space for all of us to do original stories. We don't need to rehash that. The X-Men are the X-Men. X-Men Red is one of the best X-Men titles out.
Oh, absolutely.
And the thing is, I don't feel less that I'm not reading X-Men, or that I'm not reading Wolverine, or that I'm not reading Marauders, or I'm not reading this other X title. The only X-Men book I'm reading is X-Men Red. I'm completely content with Storm and her little friends. I'm good.
One of the books coming out too. Storm has a new solo series called Storm and the Brotherhood of Mutants.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So even with that though, so what we gonna do? We finna make Storm the bad girl now. She gonna be the villain.
I don't think so. I think they're going to end X-Men Red at a certain point, and then they're going to keep going. Just like Storm's story really started with Sword.
True. Yeah.
So of course, going into the standard of having 5 or 6 issues so that they can do a trade paperback of it and then move on to the next story, as opposed to keeping it going.
Let's roll with what you just said, Tamika.
Continuation.
Roll with what you just said. It's her story started in Sword. Just for you all to understand, recommends Sword Volume 2.
Mm-hmm.
Marauders Volume 1.
2. I think it's 2.
No, 2. It's currently on 2. Volume 1 was better. That's the one that she was in. And then the current run of X-Men Red, which I think is technically X-Men Red Volume 2.
Mm-hmm.
Those are I think all of those were either written by either Jerry Duggan or Al Ewing. Probably Jerry Duggan, who's very much like Al Ewing. Those two guys know how to write Storm well.
Okay. Yeah.
They just let the character be the character. I can't really speak to the other writers that have written on Storm, but they've kind of, from what I can discern, just reading X-Men Red, Al Ewing is just literally letting Storm be Storm. And what I mean by that is he's writing her as if he's having a conversation with her. It's almost like, what if I was Storm, what would I do?
Mm-hmm.
It's not something where it's forced. His writing feels very fluid, and it doesn't feel forced at all. It's not outside the realm of who Storm is. He's very comfortable in writing. He hasn't done anything goofy with it.
Yeah.
Which is the tendency of some writers or whatever when they write certain characters. So I commend him definitely for writing Storm, because there have been some Storm runs or some little miniseries that they're okay, but I'm like, Al Ewing has kind of did his thing.
Al Ewing, I'm not entirely certain, is not black. I need to see I need to see his ancestry.com results.
Now, Paul, now you know that most white people don't like looking at their family tree.
I'm just telling you, Al Ewing.
Because a nigga might fall out of it.
Al Ewing must have some black in him for him to be able to write Storm in such a tremendously respectful manner.
Yeah, no
but
doubt.
shout out to him. The dude's an excellent writer. From that to Ultimates, he's a boss writer. I have no problems with Al Ewing.
I mean, that's why they gave him the book. I mean, he's writing. Who else? What else is he writing? He's writing. Isn't he writing Venom right now too?
Is he writing Venom?
I think he is. I think he's writing Venom as well. But either way, look, we are an hour and 36 minutes in, and we need to get on and get up out of here because guess what? I'm finna go watch some nerd stuff. I'm gonna go watch House of Dragon. I gotta watch some. Listen, as a nerd, that gets no better than a dragon. I just wish the dragons would talk. If the dragons could talk, you know what I'm saying, that would be cool. But all they do is hear that one sound. What is it, Darake? And they just burn whatever.
But heck, I'm just loving it because even though that it's focused on the white Targaryens, we have black Valerians.
Yes. And the funny thing is too, they have half of the dragons that are out. So I mean, it's a far gone conclusion, guys. Y'all might want to like tap into that. That's a lot of richness right there. Y'all need to really deal with. But we'll see. It's HBO. It is what it is.
But that's for Game of Thrones fiends.
Yes.
And I am one. So
yes, absolutely.
Dracarys.
Dracarys. Yeah.
Derek telling us to get off the show. He's gonna burn us off. All right, we hear you, Dr. Wizard.
Look, it's your boy Rich, man. We just wanted to holler at y'all tonight, and we talked a little bit about books. We talked a little bit about the New York Comic-Con. Again, we want to shout out our big brother, Dr. John Jennings, for his work at the New York Comic-Con representing Black Comic Lords. I don't know if y'all got a chance to see his shirt, but he was wearing, our logo, and so we really salute that brother. Also want to salute Angelique Roche for her contributions or whatever, the things they got going on. And we do have a Wakanda #1 coming out next week. So we got that to look forward to, when you go to the shop on Wednesday.
We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. But Black Panther fans, gotta love them. Until next time, y'all, we're going to get out of here. Like my girl Tamiko says, buy the comics, read the comics. We love you. There ain't nothing you can do about it.
Thank you.
Until next week, we'll see you. Go out and enjoy some books. Stop bitching about what you have had for fun. It's your boy, Rich. We out.
Don't spend your rent money.
Don't spend the rent money. Please don't, because you can't come live with us. Deuces. We out.